Hey guys, today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. All you have to do is visit www.audibletrial.com/actorsanonymouspodcast, and you have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, as always, Sam Quiche. Co-hosting is Jordan Bamberg.
I did not. I'm letting you know this.
Yeah.
I did not talk over the intro this time.
You did not, and I appreciate you noting
First
that.
time in a long time.
Actually, you did it the last one too, that you didn't talk over the intro.
I was going to say, wait, what?
Yeah. I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks.
We're improving every episode. We're getting better.
It's only been 3 years.
It's only been 3 years. 92 or 91 episodes in. Not bad.
Yeah, something like that. Should I know that as a producer?
Nah. Our awesome guest today is Jason Kaye. Oh my gosh. What a horrible way to introduce somebody. Jason Kaye, you are the winner of First Impressions.
Yes, episode 4.
Episode 4. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a dream come true, man.
Dude.
Incredible.
I can't tell you how happy I am for you because I remember whenever we performed on the TMI together, and you were one of my favorite people to work with on the show.
Man, yeah.
And we met up for coffee a couple times after that, and I had the pleasure of seeing your show on IO West, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Hollywood, called Duke, which you perform monthly still, correct?
Yeah, it's a new show every month.
And I really mean this. I was like, oh, dude, this guy's legit. Like, he's really talented. And he's gonna go places with his craft, and I just was so excited when I opened up my Facebook wall and I saw that you had won the show, and yeah, man, congrats! What an experience!
Oh, it was amazing, and it was it was a very interesting experience getting to the actual shooting part of it.
Yeah,
because it was first they have you come in. First, I get an email from IO that they send to everybody saying, like, hey, there's going to be this new show, possibly. This is before it got picked up.
Yeah.
Like, possibly called First Impressions.
I remember when you were telling me about it.
Yeah.
You were, like, being very secretive, like something like Dana Carvey. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, they brought in a bunch of people in December. And then first they had you send in stuff. And before I did the show, or before I even heard about it, I always did impressions for fun. And like when I had to, but I didn't consider myself an impressionist at all. I consider myself like a sketch actor and a character. Well, usually when people say character actor, it always means something different than what I think. Like I think of a character actor as like Peter Sellers, as in somebody that does a lot of characters.
Gotcha.
But I think in the industry, correct me if I'm wrong, like when they say a character actor, it's like somebody that always plays himself as a character, but they have like a particular character. Yeah. Like, what does it mean? I always get confused on that.
I think it's where an actor who has a wide range of characters they can play of different types of people when they say character actor. Like they're playing a different type. They're not the leading man necessarily. They could be a leading man in a character role, but for the most part, it's like a Paul Giamatti is like the epitome for me of a character actor.
It's like,
or Philip Seymour Hoffman is a character
dive
actor.
into it and really like make it.
That.
As much, I think it's also about sort of like your personality really shines through each individual character in a very unique way. Because there's a lot of people that can portray things in a certain way that's kind of like not flat, but just not as big as like some of these other people, like you were saying. Like when you see Philip Seymour Hoffman in a role, it's like he has gone through so much to transform into that.
Yeah,
but you still see sometimes that Philip Seymour Hoffman essence.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a personality of his
Can
person
I swear on this show?
Oh yeah, do say whatever you want.
No, just the only Philip Seymour Hoffman thing I can do is the like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking come on, Dirk. Oh god, it was stupid. That's a great name.
But impressionist, dude,
yeah.
I've seen you do your impressions, and that you don't consider yourself an impressionist?
Well, now I do.
Now
I do. But before I was like, I know I could. Always loved doing voices, and initially I considered myself like a voice man, like in sense of accents and coming up with different voices and stuff like that. But then for the show, I'm like, okay, I think I can do that because I always do it kind of for fun. And then when I went in, they said just prepare about 6 impressions. And I thought when they said prepare, I'm like, okay, I'll write monologues for each one. And I go in and I have like a minute monologue for I did in the audition. I did Quentin Tarantino, Albert Brooks, John Malkovich, Michael Caine, Jason Statham, Nick Offerman. Who else did I do? I did Billy Bob Thornton, and then I did Johnny Depp, but I didn't do Johnny Depp live because in order for me to do it, I need like a shit ton of scarves and hats and sunglasses. But the thing is so I go in there and I start doing like, I do Quentin Tarantino, and after like 30 seconds, like, that's great. What's the next one? I'm like, oh, I have another 30 seconds. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, each of these is about like a minute and a half. And they were like, oh, we only needed 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, oh, really? But they're like, yeah, just do it anyway. And so then I did that. And then I find out a month later, they give me a call and they're like, okay, so we want to put you on a very strong, soft hold. For the
I hate this
Did
industry.
you ever get this? Did it ever happen to you? Where they're like, we like you so much, but we can't. I mean, softly. You know? And I'm like, all right. And then I finally got the call. They're like, you got it. I'm like, really?
Like a soft got it, or like a
soft got it, or like this is a hard got. Like, you got it, hard got. And like when I went in, I was so nervous because it's an improv show mainly. First impressions for people that haven't seen it yet. It's kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but with like the points do matter, kind of, you know. Even though there's not points, it's basically the studio audience votes. But there's usually 3 different improv games, and you know the impression you're gonna do, but you have no idea what they're gonna throw at you. And also, they didn't air like half the things because each round you're doing 2 different impressions, but they only air 1 impression each.
Okay. And
what I thought was interesting is one of the rounds is called "And the Winner Is," where you give an acceptance speech as an impression, but you don't know what you've won. And I did Albert Brooks and Jason Statham, and I could have sworn, like, I love Albert Brooks. He's one of my favorites, but every time I say, when I'm doing him now in front of people, I'm like, you guys know Albert Brooks? There's always one person's like, yeah, and everybody else is like, who's that? And somebody's like, it's Nemo's dad. For like, and that really dates me.
So many movies,
but it's Nemo's dad.
Yeah,
it's the
like
animated one.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And but they went with Albert Brooks. They showed Albert Brooks instead of my Jason Statham, which I thought was interesting. And they also showed like my Nick Offerman instead of my Sean Connery for the karaoke version. And I like the Sean Connery one more. But it's interesting how they like edit certain things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to get more into the actual show.
Yeah, sure.
And I want people to check it out. Again, it's on USA. People can watch it, and I'm sure they could find the trailer for it, which I saw on YouTube. Again, it's First Impressions, episode 104.
Mm-hmm.
But another reason why I wanted you on the show is because I was listening to NPR, and there was this study they did on memorization of numbers.
Oh, wow.
And I'll explain how this leads into you.
Sure.
So 491268. Repeat, Jordan. Can you repeat what I just said?
491268.
Yeah, 419268.
That was a little different, right? So it was actually one number off from what I just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you say?
491268.
That's what I said.
Oh, is that what you said?
The same one.
Yeah.
491268.
Oh, did he forgot 9?
I said 49. Or did I say
No, we said 491268.
Did I say 419268?
Do you see?
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. Do you see where we're at right now? How like?
Wait, did I get it right?
You
got it right immediately.
I actually was. I literally, when you asked me, I was like, "Oh fuck, I don't remember these."
Immediately in my mind, I'm like, "All right, this is something I can pass."
So this is a part of our brain that some people have a natural strength to, while some people don't at all.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "What?" Because it's the type of thing where you don't tell them in the beginning that, hey, think of the numbers I'm about to say to see where their strength level starts at. Yeah. So they did this study where they asked this, they got this guy and he had trouble memorizing like 5 numbers, 6 numbers, 7 numbers, but they started doing the study and he kept getting stronger. He kept getting stronger. And there was this excitement building up with the scientist, with the guy, because he kept getting the numbers longer. And he got, after a year or something, after daily practice, he got over like 80 digits he could memorize. Wow. Yeah. Some people know like pi to like
1,000 places.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
From a Weird Al song.
No.
Straight out of Linwood, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Like I know
Third Rock from the
places.
Sun taught me how to do pi.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is it's so interesting the way the mind works in certain areas of memorization, of recognition. So for you, with these impressions, I know it's not the same as numbers, but did you find that all of a sudden, like years ago, like, oh wow, I can imitate this person very well, and let me try imitating this person. Oh, I'm having trouble with this person. I need to work on this impression a little bit more. So I know that's a two-part question. So I guess the first part would be, when did you first realize that you had a natural inclination, or did you not have a natural inclination to do impressions of people?
I think the first time I realized I could impersonate somebody was actually my grandfather when I was like 11. And we had one of these, this might date me, but this was like I was like 1999, where car phones were like the way of the future. And he had a voice activated car phone, and it only recognized his voice. So like when everybody else tried to he would say his name like Carl Rosenthal. And like when anybody else tried to do it, didn't call, but I'm like, I can mimic, we'd call him Pops. I'm like, I can mimic Pop's voice. So, and then you just say like, Carl Rosenthal, call Dennis, and then it would call the person, and then literally, like either like I sound like an asshole, but like either his friends are idiots or I'm that good, because then I would talk to them. And by the way, like when I was 11, you guys should have seen me, because imagine seeing like an 11-year-old child, which is just a tiny person, I guess, and it's sounding like, hey, how's it going? And like, but I would be like, hey, Dennis, it's Carl. I'm your boss. What's going on with the accounts payable? And he's like, Carl, I told you, whatever. And I'm like, God, Dennis, you're really busting me here. Come on. And then my grandfather would be like, did you use my phone? I'm like, I can't. It's voice activated. And I was the first guy I knew I could impersonate. But then the first celebrity impressions were like, I would watch SNL.
Yeah.
And this is funny because a lot of times impressions, it's a very, like, you either like immediately get it or you have to work on it. And most people, if they immediately get it, they're like, that's it, that's great, it's amazing. But you have to convince yourself, for the ones that you don't immediately get, like, just work a little harder. Because you have this inclination, at least I do, that if I don't immediately get it, I'm kind of like, well, it's not meant for me. But like, I couldn't do Albert Brooks at first. And the very first one I did, I was in 5th grade, and I saw Daryl Hammond do Al Gore. And before I saw anyone do Al Gore, I'm like, well, that must be an impression that no one can do, because Al Gore just sounds like weird.
Yeah.
But, like the Simpsons thing of like, you are hearing me talk, Al Gore. But I like was able to mimic Daryl Hammond doing it in 5th grade. And now I can't do it anymore, really.
Can I actually go back to what you said? Just work at it more.
Yeah, you got to work at it.
And what do you mean by it? Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Please?
Well, you have to start. Well, luckily we live in an age where you can like watch videos of people. And
where?
On YouTube. Oh yeah. Vine and GIFs, where they'll at least tell you what they wrote on the bottom of it.
I only have attention span for GIFs now.
Yeah,
I can't watch movies.
I can't.
2 seconds.
I just keep watching the same scene of Batman's parents dying over and over again. I'm like,
Me
well,
too.
now I get it.
Before bed, right?
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's a sex thing for me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But to know, like, you can get that much motivation from one moment. But like when you work at it, it's the same thing with accents though too. You practice with accents. It's a lot easier because you know exactly which vowels sound differently, what kind of vocal tics sound differently, and there's entire books. Like I got books that teach me how to do accents, and then you practice along with the tapes, and that's easy. But with impressions, you have to find certain vocal tics. And you have to really study it, and then you just have to like keep working and working. And as soon as you get like that one moment where somebody's like, "Oh yeah," then that little nugget of like compliment, you're like, "Oh God, I'm so close." So for Albert Brooks, what I usually do is I notice that when you watch him talk, if you can make your voice like relax your throat, where like Albert Brooks kind of sounds like that, like he relaxes his voice, and he also, if you watch him do Hank Scorpio on The Simpsons, where he's like, you ever see a man say goodbye to his shoes before? Come on, Homer. And he's always apologizing. So he'd be like, I'm sorry, did I do something wrong? Was I supposed to bring cash? Like I do one where it's Albert Brooks trying to buy cocaine. So I go on to Venice Beach. So he goes like, I'm sorry, did I do something wrong? Was I supposed to bring cash? I gotta tell you, this is new ground for me. Do you take Amex? No, of course not. What am I talking about? You don't even take debit. I don't want to use an ATM machine. Have you been to one lately? The service charges are huge. They're ridiculous. It's criminal is what it is. No offense.
That's awesome.
Do you have any cocaine that doesn't
man.
have a nasal drip?
But
you find and you also find the most important thing that I always tell everybody with impressions is once you kind of get the voice, you need the point of view because then you can't improvise without a point of view at all. I mean, you can anybody can do, Bill Clinton saying I did not have sexual relations with that woman, and you're like, all right, now put him at an Arby's, and what's he gonna He's still just gonna say I did not have sex. Who are you talking to? Yeah. So you'd have to do if he's at Arby's, what's his point of view? If you make it he's kind of like a trickster, Southern Fox or something like that, you'd be like, oh, I do want the. I'll have that double down Arby's burger, but me, I think we know each other. I think maybe we can make a deal where we come together. Put a little more barbecue sauce on that. How about that? Is that good for you? I think I can reach across the aisle literally and pay you. I can Venmo you that cash. And I promise I'll do that for you. Or something like that. Here's the other funny thing.
That's great.
The difference between Bill Clinton and Matthew McConaughey is just a lisp. I've realized because literally Matthew McConaughey is doing all right. Oh, and it's a little more nasally. So he goes, Matthew McConaughey's all right, I'm drinking some Ethos water right here, ha ha ha, and then but with a little bit of lisp, he's like, so you gotta understand that, Ethos water is kind of it's it's running through all of us, okay, Bill Clinton's not gonna sound like that. Anyway, I'm gonna stop going into tangent.
No,
that's amazing though. There's such a concentration on. A lot of people might think of impressions as something that you can just have to pick up and learn, but the way you're just describing that to me is you have to delve in, jump into that character and understand that mindset in order for it to come to life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it also really helps if you have if you have a musical background, because you find out what's the pitch, what's the rhythm, a very interesting impression is Christopher Walken, which in my opinion anybody can do if they just know the rhythm. And I always find it funny when apparently Bill Hader says he doesn't know how to do a Christopher Walken, which to me is insane because Bill Hader is the best impressionist. Because Christopher Walken has this rhythm of going oh blah 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 blah, so he'll be if he's Christopher Walken is talking about going on a run I'll go on a run. Put 2 feet in front of the other, things happen quickly, and it's that, but wow. And then occasionally you'll just go into I told him, hey, you're dead, man, to me, he'll go that thing. And I also realized this today before I came here that Al Pacino is Christopher Walken with a raspy voice. Because if let's say we give Christopher Walken the thing of wow, her ass was huge, unbelievable. If you make it scratchy, it would go wow, her ass was huge, unbelievable,
dude.
Oh, good,
that's.
It's the same thing.
That's amazing that you've noticed those similarities.
But it's it's exactly. If you learn similarities in things, you can do it, and it's little tweaks. Because I used to have the problem of thinking you need to change your voice completely, and sometimes you do. Because one of my favorite actors of all time is Heath Ledger, and he's kind of one of the reasons I got into acting because I was just into heavy metal. And I was a huge Batman fan, and I saw The Dark Knight, and I was like, that's one of the most incredible just artistic performances I've ever seen. I kind of want to know what that's like. But his voice doesn't sound like him at all. So I used to think, and I used to have a problem with acting because I'm well, I can't act if I'm not doing somebody else's voice. And then eventually you learn, you're you got to learn how to do your own voice and act because you're going to have a real rough time. Real rough. But it's also fun to find, there's an impressionist name. I think his name's Ross Marquand. He's on The Walking Dead. But there's a thing called micro impressions that he does. But some people have this natural voice that's kind of just this neutral thing. And he's able to, he does a great John C. Reilly. He does a really good Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is really hard to do. Also, I've never heard anybody really nail Robert Downey Jr. Except for this one guy on YouTube who I forgot his name. So, bad luck for him. But anyway, sorry, go back to the questions. Yeah.
No. We actually got to take a quick break. But when we come back... there's a couple other things I want to hit upon.
Sure.
But that's amazing that you found that these small just slight changes.
Yeah.
And then you're a totally different person.
Exactly. And you get into that mindset also. And also physicality really helps too.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Okay, listeners, imagine this. You're stuck on the 405 freeway. It's 5 p.m. Traffic is bumper to bumper. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I wish someone could read me The Hobbit, unabridged by J.R.R. Tolkien. And guess what? Now you can. All you have to do is visit www.audibletrial.com/Actors Anonymous Podcast, and you can get a free 30-day trial of audible.com plus a free audiobook download. How amazing is that? All you got to do is go to that site, www.audibletrial.com/Actors Anonymous Podcast, and then boom, you can download it to your MP3 player, your iPhone, your Android, or even your Kindle. So, I want to talk about something which I've experienced the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I experienced. The last episode.
And also, can you give me advice how to deal with that?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about what you experienced first, and then I'll tell you what happened with me and how I was just able to be okay with it.
Okay.
So you have this fame and notoriety now, which you hadn't had before.
I know. Yeah, I
haven't had. It jumped up for you.
Yeah, it did. And I don't consider myself famous in any way, but it was a very interesting week for me with all the stuff. And I get these, and I don't really use Twitter enough. I should, it's for actors and it's a whole thing. But I get these Twitter notifications, and it's funny because sometimes one person's like, "Oh, your Malkovich was spot on," as the person's like, "Jason Kaye, oh yeah, great job." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then this one guy is like, "This was the worst episode of First Impressions I've seen. How did that guy win? His impressions are terrible. They all sound like his voice. Fuck that guy." And I was like, "Oh my God, really? What?" I'm like, and then some other guy's like, "Yeah, man, I also agree. Screw that guy. What an idiot." I mean, he didn't say idiot, but he's like, and I was literally like, okay. I literally felt my heart rate go up. I'm like, oh God, okay. Holy shit. And then I went to this is all real things that I did. I went on IMDb and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at the reviews. And then literally one person is like, that guy's voices were terrible. He just sounds like himself. He can't get out of the way of his own voice. How did he win? And then another guy was like, well, he was the funniest. So he had the funniest material, but I agree. His impressions were terrible. And I'm like, oh my God, they're probably right. I just tricked everybody. And then I watched the first time I watched the episode was last night. And I watched it and in real life, this is one of the greatest moments of my life. But now because 4 assholes said you suck, in the world, one of the best moments of my life was when Dana Carvey afterwards, and you hear it in the episode because I didn't even know they still had the mics on, but I was like, hey man, it's just a thrill of a lifetime to perform in front of you. And he's like, hey, she's like, you're a great improviser. And to have Dana Carvey say that, I was like, well, if nothing else happens, at least I accomplished something. And then literally, but because I'm so in my head, I'm kind of like, well, he didn't say you were a great impressionist. He probably agreed with those assholes. And then I start watching the thing. I'm like, hey, I was nervous. I noticed that I kind of sped up certain impressions, and I noticed my voice actually did sound the same. And then I just got into this self-hating hole. And I'm like, hopefully I get more successful because I love what I do. This is probably going to get a lot worse the more I get. And I start thinking these celebrities and people that are just trying to act like when people are like, yeah, fun, they literally are this close to saying somebody should murder this person.
Absolutely.
And I'm like,
God.
How do you? Why? So Weezem, you're a famous professional actor. And I wanted to ask you I didn't know we could talk about it here. Has anybody done that to you? And
yes.
How do you deal with? Okay. And you're a great actor, man.
Oh, thanks.
How do you deal with that?
This is the best way to. First off, I like to go to the source of things.
Okay.
Because that helps me understand it, and that helps me deal with it logically. And I know that's a very broad thing. But, for instance, one of the first times I experienced it was on Periscope. And, you have trolls there, and sometimes they'll say, you're gay, you're stupid, eat a dick. Yeah. And it's like, okay, block, right. I don't care. Yeah. But one time, this guy was just, really aggressive on Periscope. Super, I did something to his family aggressive.
Oh, my God.
So I finally blocked him, and then I was like, I need to know who this fucker is.
Yeah.
Do I know him? Yeah. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
followed him on. I didn't follow him on Twitter, but I followed him through the interweb.
Yeah.
Went to his Twitter page. I'm not going to say what religion he was associated with or practiced, but he was a very devout person of this faith.
Okay.
And I looked at his Twitter media pictures he would post, and it's like the do not kill, be respectful to others, like posting all this like religious stuff on his Twitter.
Wow,
while,
that is like the opposite of I thought what you were going to say.
Yeah, I was like, where's this guy?
Right?
What?
So you're like, oh, this dude is a hypocrite. He's insane.
Yeah.
So I don't like why this person is ridiculous. So that was one of the first times. But
Yeah.
the last episode of Awkward I did, spoiler alert for the people who have not been caught up, my character does a total 180. He used to be this like goth emo kid, and he goes to college, and he just becomes like, he finds himself. He's just normal, and he's just like a normal everyday guy.
Like
He's
real life.
like real life. And so in one of the MTV posts they post on their Facebook things, like they said something or to the effect of like, Kyle got hot, or check out Kyle's new transformation or something like that.
Yeah.
And so like I wanted to see what the article was about, and then I went through the comments.
No, don't do that.
Well, you know,
It's the
I
internet.
had
People are
nothing but
assholes.
nice things people have been saying to me.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it's this amazing thing that happens. Like, he is definitely not hot. Yeah, I agree. He is not hot. He is ugly. Like, it got like progressively like worse, and I was just like,
Oh no.
oh, this is my the first thing that came into my mind. I'm like, oh, this is my first time experiencing this.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to find out who these people are.
You just like there's like a John Wick hit list that you have. Like you're just gonna like go out one at a time.
it's not like that. It's more to the fact of I need to know who's saying this, because instinctually you're a nice person like me. We're very non-violent.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
pacifist,
why are you saying this?
Yeah,
I went to their Facebook, and I gotta say, it's like, kind of trashy people saying this.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what though?
and so
See, I went to some of these people too, and like the guy that was like super hateful. His second tweet other than mine was like, "Hey, Barack Hanoi Hussein Obama," and I'm like, "All right,
well,
great."
where I'm going with this is you have to realize, okay, it's so easy for somebody to make a judgment and they want to put their opinion online.
Sure.
And whether you want to take that person's opinion, a total stranger, you can filter it if you want, take it and go, okay, or take somebody like Dana Carvey, let's say, and take his opinion and go, okay, you know what? He said I was a good improviser, but something which I think was so healthy for you to do, and I might have felt uncomfortable dissecting your performance on that show.
Yeah.
You just said something that was truthful. You said, I seemed a little nervous.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
It was your first time experiencing that. Maybe next time you're on a show like that, or next time you're on TV, you'll be less nervous. Fair?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You'll know what to expect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's all about improving yourself as an artist. That's what counts.
Yeah.
Like, fuck literally anybody else, including the people you look up to, because even their viewpoints can be skewed a little bit, even if they're giving you big compliments. Really be honest with yourself.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's something that you did that was important.
But I think there's also a thing like because I work in like a lot of my job is monitoring a lot of online content because I work with YouTube. Like a lot of the stuff is always like we have like thousands upon thousands of comments on every video, and the things that they say are so like I'm like
brutal,
you are
isn't it?
either just trying to be like write something that you can be funny about, or like you literally everyone online has a different persona than they are in real life, because half the people would not say that stuff. Like
of course
people,
not.
a lot of people are just like, you're the cancer of like, you are straight up cancer. You are just like, you are the end all and be all of the world. I hope you die. But I'm like, I actually have been in some of our work videos, and I love when people say mean things about me, because it's like, I'm such I'm underused and very not even in a lot of them. But when people are like, what a gay cliche of a human being, I'm like, really? I was like, I actually screen cap them and save them. That's because I'm just like, these are so great. Because I don't like, you just have to turn it off, and it's got to be very difficult with impressions, because impressions of like a lot of the things, like you have to really, like you were saying, it's like you just have to keep working at it, and like sometimes that one person is just gonna try to knock you down.
It's and I think maybe maybe I can't speak for all artists, but I think there's a natural insecurity, at least for myself, and I've talked to other artists and actors and improvisers, where we're all doing it because this is like the most fun thing ever. But it's also, you kind of get that validation. So so when somebody says like, you're not good at what you love, it's just like, oh God. But no, I think the most important thing is getting better. Because like, so I read some of these comments last night and like, but some of them I was like, one of them was like, his Michael Caine awful, it should be an octave lower. And then like this morning I tried an octave lower. I'm like, oh yeah, he's right. Like, and so you always need to be getting better in general for everything, even like, you know, taking classes or working on your craft. And I felt the same thing with, what was your name again? I'm sorry, man. Will. Like, he's not on the microphone.
Oh, everybody, my brother just moved to LA Friday. Yeah. His name is William Quiche, and he's in the studio.
Woo, check it out.
Big welcome to William.
But you're a musician, right? And as a musician, at least for myself, and I'm sure you the same way, you're constantly working on like, how can I be a better guitar player? If you're a guitarist, if you're a saxophone player, that doesn't make any sense. But unless it's like you should quit saxophone, just go to guitar. But you're always picking, and I always do this. You always pick apart your performance. So even if Miles Stroth, who's an improviser from IO, big time guy, has said like, no, you'll never have a perfect improv show. You'll never have a perfect sketch show. It'll always be not perfect. So it's funny that people that want to be perfect at something, there's always an imperfection, and that's how you keep getting better. Because there's no such thing as a perfect performance, or at least, like I'm sure even Heath Ledger's Joker, which I think is the perfect performance, I wonder if he thought like, oh, I fucked that up. And a lot of times, I'm sure you've had this too. You'll do a live thing, and I think I even said when you came to my show, I said, oh, I fucked up this one thing. You're like, I couldn't tell. But in my mind, I'm like, I know I fucked that up. I know I can make it better. And you need to have that, or else you're not going to get better. And you have to come to terms with the fact, and I haven't come to terms with it, that like, you'll never be the thing you want to be as perfect, but you'll keep getting closer and closer and closer to that. That's one of the reasons why also I brought you on the show, because I really recognize that you are a true artist. You're not just another Joe Schmo actor or improviser out here. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to go hang out with you outside of the show, because I was like, this guy's on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah.
And I bring it up a lot on the show, but it is the path of an artist. It's this book Mastery. It talks about the plateau, the spike, plateau, spike, plateau. You're never gonna get perfect. No. You know, you have an expiration date.
Oh, that too, yeah.
And so it's that work that I appreciate so much, and now more than ever. It's that daily grind. There is an amazing human being. His name is Jocko, and he has an Instagram, and he has a podcast called the Jocko Podcast. Ex-Navy SEAL, leadership, motivational speaker. Wakes up at like 4:30 every day, takes a picture of his watch, and says, "Get some," or he says, "Earn the day."
Oh wow!
And then afterwards, he'll take black and white photos of the sweat in his gym and the steel, and he's like another day purged in pain and sweat. I love it, and it's like that motivation, that grind. He's not, he's getting older. So that's getting harder for him to do this every day.
Oh wow!
So there is a Zen mindset to this, this lifestyle that we've accepted. Yeah. There's a Zen quality of life. There's a philosophical element that will elevate us if we continue on this path to some sort of enlightened perspective on our own lives, on the other people's lives we surround ourselves with. And it's a service that we end up, I think, realizing that what we do with our craft, whether it be acting, whether it be music, whether it be telling stories. What's up?
I just pictured like my version of the Jocko podcast would be like a watch that said 12:30, and it would just say like who farted. I don't even know how like there's a 4:30 in the morning. That's not a thing for me.
There's an AM version of that? Yeah. No way.
Jordan.
Sorry.
I love how I'm like in the middle of this.
You're giving a hell of a locker room speech here.
I love it. I'm there with you. Like I think that's like one of the things I was thinking when you were saying that was sort of like with creating content. I think we're also in an industry where even as a if you're a writer, a producer, a direct, like whatever you're doing, it's never going to come out the way it is in your head. It's never going to be like that end all be all perfect thing, because we're in a community
Oh,
our industry is a community effort. It's everything. Like you might flub something and be like, oh fuck, I can't believe I fucked that up in that scene. And an editor's gonna fix that. It's there's gonna be hopefully an editor's gonna fix that. I hope
it's weird when the editor makes it worse, and you're like, you cut the best part or something like that. But you're totally right about it's a team sport, especially if you come from an improv background. But I feel like even with actors too, like somebody that says like, oh, I'm a solo person, like it's like you just made your life unbelievably harder. Because even if I don't know, even for me, even if you're like in a monologue, unless you're like in a soliloquy where you're just out to the audience, you have to be reacting off people, and so it's so much easier to react off people and like use people as creative conduits and work together than it is to be like, I'm going it alone. Because going it alone, like that sounds like super badass and rogue, but like it's like that's like even like the lone cowboy, like he's on a horse. That horse, if he was going it alone, it doesn't look as cool if he's just walking in the desert going like, God, where am I going? He's on a horse, it looks even better, and like no one gives the horse credit.
No.
But they work together, kind of.
Yeah.
There's a great saying like, no man is an island.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That horse thing I really just made up right now. You could tell because I kept looking at you going like, I'm going there. I might get there. I don't know.
Well, even like the guy on his, his motorcycle, he's got to stop by the diner. He's got to stop by the gas station. I feel the best times for me to go in it alone is literally when I'm by myself in my room. I want to improve. I don't have an audition. I don't have an acting class. I'll literally open up my Shakespeare book and just start doing like reading soliloquies. Yeah. And that's when I go up. But even then, I have to have reverence to the teachers who have taught me how to properly read Shakespeare. I'm so sorry. We're running out of time. No. I just want to say one more thing.
Can I ask you?
I was just going to say it's a combination of the two. It's you have to practice on yourself, and then you have to be willing to be like a malleable sponge when you're working with other people.
Yeah.
But it's great to have all those tools and working on all the tools. And for me, as a guitar player, it was learning scales, and then as an actor, it was learning voices. So,
do you feel like that? Like, actually, I wanted to get back to. I didn't mean to interrupt the moment.
Sorry,
but before,
no, it's okay.
How do you stay motivated in that? Because like even today, like I remember, I woke up this morning and I've just been like super lazy on things, or like really trying to like get everything done, but I can't seem to do every single facet of all the stuff I want to do, and I literally have to like look in the mirror and be like, you fucking son of a bitch. Like, get over it. Just do it. What is your problem? Like, I had an existential crisis.
My wonderful younger brother, his name is Daniel, and he just did a dental program in Honduras. Oh, no literally way. A third world country, okay?
Oh, yeah.
He came back. He was telling me, like, the bus, him and these dental students and the dentist were going to, like, provide free healthcare for these people.
That's great.
It was lined up. He was I've never seen a line that long before in my life. Wow. And when they got off the bus, they were cheering for them.
Oh, that's amazing.
To use the bathroom, they literally have to go into the woods and dig a hole every time they need to use the bathroom. I'm telling you, he's like, we Sam, our problems are not problems in this country.
Oh, no.
Our feelings are hurt, whatever. We need to get over it.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast, and especially if you're in LA or New York, or you want to come out here and you have problems, quote unquote, trust me, you can get over them. Find that motivation by realizing there are people out there who wish they had your problems. Real quick, before we go, I wanted just an observation that I made. Sorry, I'm handing up some producer work from my producer. It's amazing, when you're with a group of people who have maybe from a certain country, let's say they have Italian accents. Sure. I don't know if you've noticed this, but sometimes all of a sudden, oh man, I'm starting to talk like that.
No.
So I believe this is a theory.
Yeah.
This is back to our caveman days where we're trying to assimilate with certain tribes to survive and basically being, hey, I'm like you.
Yeah.
I'm like you, don't kill me. Or we're on the same team here.
You don't realize it when you start talking in your accent.
And I think you've tuned in to people. Some people have that natural inclination to do that, and so I think you're just taking it to that next level of mastering it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
so that's
definitely.
awesome.
Yeah. I also want to say, it might look, is this because you can see me right on this?
Oh, yeah.
It might look like I have eyeliner, but that's because I played an alien yesterday, and I had like black stuff all over my face. Like, okay, that sounded off. No, it's just this part of the face, because if it was all over it, that'd be a whole other thing. But I was like this alien stand-up comedian. That sounds like this, Zorax. Which is why also my voice is like kind of Nick Nolte. But that's why if it looks like
Awesome.
I have eyeliner.
No, yeah, I just thought you had beautiful eyes, honestly.
Oh, well. Now we said 2 true things.
Listen, Jason, thank you so much for coming on the
Thanks so
show.
much for having
Seriously,
me, man. Yeah.
Congrats again. If
Thank
people
you.
want to check out your Duke show at iOS.
Oh, yeah. And you can go to also jasonkcomedy.com.
And that updates all your stuff.
That gives us all the stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
And then iOS every 4th Sunday at 9. Go. It's right. That's right.
It's a great show.
Thanks.
It really is. It's one of the better improv shows and sketch shows in LA, I think.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Thanks, man. Well, and I can get you guys comped. Well, unless like 100 of you show up. Yeah, it's main stage. Yeah. It's a different sketch show every week. But a lot of the material is generated through improv the first week of the month, and then from there we go like, which of those scenes did we like, and then we write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of talented people in your group too as
they're
well.
great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thanks,
and,
brother.
Let's grab coffee sometime.
I'd love to. I want to get the. Have you told anybody about your character, the cat?
Oh yeah, they know of it.
They
Trash
know.
Cat.
Trash Cat.
I'm trying to.
I keep thinking about it. I'm like, man, that would be so successful. Because you can make a whole Instagram series of that.
That's it. We're doing it.
Oh, you are doing it.
We're gonna do it.
Oh, we're gonna do it. Yeah, we should.
We're doing it.
We go to that tuna melt place. I think I got a tuna melt.
Where was that? Oh my God, where did we go again?
It was in Burbank. Was it in Burbank?
Tuna melt. We had a tuna melt somewhere. It was really
It
good.
was really good.
Damn it, Jason!
If you're the restaurant out there.
I just peeked on the mic. Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody.
Come in. No.
Yeah, you can come in. Yeah.
All right.
But
If again, Jason,
we'll solve that mystery.
we'll solve it. JasonKComedy.com.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the
thanks
show.
thanks for having me, man.
Of course, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Thanks for hosting, man.
Oh, we're done?
We're done.
Oh, we're done. I had to step out for producer things.
I know. You had to go poop.
Man, I had to have a huge producer meeting earlier. Whoa.
That's my number 2 producer meeting. No.
Yeah.
Big thanks to GVB Studios. Thank you, Nikki, for soundboarding and soundboarding, waterboarding.
She's just waterboarding in the background. We've got some other guests that didn't make
It's a waterproof soundboard.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? This is a waterproof soundboard. We call it waterboarding. Don't go with that. Like, no, I'm the boss. No one will misconstrue that.
I'm the boss.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, man. Welcome to LA.
Thanks for the welcome.
It's gonna be an interesting ride.
yeah man. Are you in a band playing anywhere yet? Or I guess you
Not right
got
now.
here like a week ago, right?
Not right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually just got here
Yesterday.
No way.
Damn.
Yesterday.
That's awesome, man.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out at actorsanonymouspodcast.com. Big thanks to our sponsor, Audible. You get a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook download when you go to.
Oh, nice.
It's a pretty good deal. You go to www.audibletrial.com/actorsanonymous and boom. You can cancel anytime. And you keep
nice.
the audiobook you downloaded.
Oh,
That's a pretty
really?
good deal, right?
That's a great deal.
I love it.
My
It's
grandfather
great.
loves audiobooks.
Tell your grandfather.
I will. I got to tell him about
And
it.
plus, if
actually.
you're in LA, like, what are you gonna do? Read while you drive? It's not New York.
No.
If you're in
You
New
can't
York,
read
you
while
should
you're
still get
driving.
our
if I
thing.
get,
Like,
if I
download
get
it.
car sick when I'm
Still get
reading
Audible.
in the back seat, that means that if I'm reading while I'm driving, do I make other people sick?
You know what? If you're an Uber driver, that's something I recommend as well.
Oh yeah. Let's list off.
Oh,
let's
that would
list
be
off
great.
professions you could have Audible with.
Truck driver, Uber driver,
Driver,
Lots
taxi
of
drivers
drivers.
in general.
just drivers.
Messenger
if you-
service.
Messengers, filers. They don't have those anymore, do
Blind
they?
people.
Filers?
Can I say
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. My grandfather's blind. I mean, like, legally he is. But illegally?
Thanks for listening to the
Totally fine.
podcast.
Illegally blind.
Yeah. It's like the first version of Legally Blonde. That was a sci-fi thriller.
Oh my gosh. Thanks
Oh
to our
my God.
listeners.
See
Thank
at
you
the end.
guys for
Sorry,
tuning in. No, you're all good.
I'm sorry.
Eventually, we're gonna end this podcast.
Jason, I'm trying to end this phone.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got nowhere else to go. It's the worst Richard Gere impression ever.
Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. And a big thanks to audible.com for sponsoring the show today. Remember to visit audibletrial.com/actorsanonymouspodcast and you get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Check it out.